Hello and welcome to my course on the Certified Business Analysis or CBAP exam preparation. In this course, we're going to cover the introductory areas of the CBAP exam preparation course. This will cover 2 chapters out of the Business Analysis body of knowledge, which is the standard that the IIBA references for the CBAP certification exam. The 2 chapters are a core component of the training. They're by no means less important than the rest of the chapters. And typically when I cover this course, these are the sections that I cover first. After the first 2 chapters, we go into the 6 knowledge areas. And then after that, we talk about BA competencies. Then we talk about techniques and then perspectives. So there are 2 plus 6 plus 3. So we have 9 chapters that are in the business analysis body of knowledge. Just an update, the business analysis body of knowledge, or BABOK, is now on its 3rd edition. And so we typically refer to it as BABOK3. This is the most recent update from the IIBA, and it is the reference for the exam preparation. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, my name is Edward Shihab, and I've been certified as a business analysis professional from the IIBA since 2009. So that's about 12 years now, and I've been training people and providing consultancy in the same. I am a consultant by nature and a trainer also in addition. I am a certified CBAP. I'm also certified from PMI as a project management professional, program management professional, and the first in the US to be certified as portfolio management professional. I'm also certified Six Sigma Green Belt, and I have a PMO certification. I have a Master of Science in Managing Programs and Projects and a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. I do have a passion for what I do, so if I sound overly excited about the topic, please don't let it bother you. Maybe you can get interested about the topic of business analysis or any topic that I cover for that matter. And if you have any doubts, I'll be happy to respond to any concerns that you have. In this course, we're covering the first 2 chapters, as I mentioned, and these are core components of the training that you will need to know anyways for the CBAP exam. And then after this, if you feel comfortable and you want to go for the full CBAP exam, then look for my next course, which I'm working on, which is the full CBAP exam preparation course. And in it, you'll find that I'm also going to include this one section. So this is only a teaser or a taste for the CBAP exam preparation, just to give you a sense for what it's like and whether you feel comfortable, whether you find that this is really you. And it's really important that you find yourself connected to this one topic. Otherwise, you really shouldn't be considering business analysis, because you have to understand the role of the BA and how they fit into the organization before you even think about getting the credential for it. Okay, so if you feel comfortable with the knowledge that we're covering in this one course, then look for the full CBAP exam preparation, and that one should be sufficient to get you ready to go and sit and pass the exam itself. Thank you for joining my course. I truly appreciate having you on my course, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Just let me know. I'm sure there's a way for you to communicate with me. Enjoy the course. Take care. We'll start with the introductory stuff about business analysis, the business analysis body of knowledge. In case you're not familiar with this one, the BABOK, business analysis body of knowledge. This is now on the 3rd edition. It's a big orange book. If you are a member of the IIBA, which typically people would become members of IIBA in order to get the standard and maybe save on the exam fees, you can download a version of this. I want to show you what the BABOK looks like so you have an idea. It's just a big orange book. It's a huge book, and I don't know if I always recommend that people read it. I mean, you could, but what I've done is I've taken whatever is important and I've put it into the material. Right. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the PDF, right, of it. And it is 514 pages, but it doesn't mean it's 514 pages of content. It's just 514 pages in size. When you go through it, has the introduction, the key concepts in BA, and then you see the same knowledge areas: planning and monitoring, illustration, collaboration, and so on. And then it goes through, once it finishes 6 knowledge areas, then you go to underlying competencies and techniques and perspectives. So the same things that I'm covering here, that's coming from the BABOK, which is the same as the exam content, same as the material that we're covering, except maybe it has a lot more details. Could be boring details for me, but maybe you might need them, I don't know. I would rather focus on the training content. Like a lot of these important charts I've put into the content, so you don't really need to go look it up. I'll tell you where you need to look up the BABOK. So I'll explain that a little bit later when we're there. But for now, you're fine with the training content that we have. All right. The BABOK is the reference for the exam. And in my opinion, it's a good source for business analysis. This is the 3rd edition. I remember there was a 2nd edition before this. I got certified on the one that was considered version 1.6. I don't know why they called it that. But it was 1.6, and then 2 came out, and the 3rd edition made it more mature. It included things about strategy in a bigger way, included design, included a lot of good stuff that would make you more of a mature BA. So it looks more like where I would want to be if I'm a BA. All right, so what is business analysis? And a lot of people confuse business analysis with, let's say, financial analysis or system analysis or project management for that matter. Business analysis is, I'll read it first, we'll explain it, is the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. So what I will do to explain this is draw maybe a couple of things. This is where your organization wants to be on the right. Let me make this a bit thicker. Let's see if this works. So this is where your organization wants to be. Okay, this bunch of circles here. And this is finding another box. This is where you are. Okay. Right now, let's say you don't have a specific app or you don't have a system to do, I don't know, logistics, or you don't have a way to track your products going in and out, but you aim to have it. Okay. So if I go to this explanation, business analysis is a process of enabling the change, and the change would be what needs to happen from here, what you need to change to your current state, right, in an enterprise. So the current state of an enterprise here, by defining the needs is what the organization is aiming for at the end, right? The organization is hoping, and they have a need maybe to track certain products or assets, and they would like to have that. And you need to define the need. So you take the need, which could be expressed at a very high level, and then you need to kind of like add a little more context to it, understand it well, and then you recommend solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. The solutions that deliver value are those that would take them from here to here, all right? You take them from a point where they didn't have these capabilities to the point where they have the capabilities. Mind you, you don't have to implement the solution. So your job is to recommend the solution, all right? You define the need. So if I said, I need Wi-Fi, I'm in an office and I said, I need Wi-Fi, that would be maybe the superficial request. And when I say define the need, it would be something like, Ed, why do you need Wi-Fi? And I'd be like, well, I need to access my email. Why do you need the email? Mind you, you don't want to overdo it because they'll kick you. They'll hit you if you keep asking. Why do you need email? Well, I'm expecting a very important message to come from a supplier or a contractor or something, and I don't want to miss it. That's why I need Wi-Fi. Now, in reality, they don't need Wi-Fi. The need that they have is to be able to receive that important message. Do you get it? They just want to receive the message. They don't need Wi-Fi. What if I could set up somebody outside of this office, like outside let's say I'm running a meeting or training, and I could set up somebody outside who is going to look out for this message, and the moment they get it, they can print it and then bring it over to me. Then my need has been met. So it could be met in different ways, and the different ways are what we call the solutions. Okay? So you need to recommend solutions to address the need. You don't have to implement it. That's the job of the PMs. You need to recommend the solutions for the needs that they have, but not just any solution. There could be 3 or 4 different solutions available, but which one fits well within the circumstances or restrictions or constraints or conditions or context of where that stakeholder is. And some of the constraints could be budget constraints. Some of them could be time constraints. So you need to consider that the best one isn't necessarily the cheapest, or maybe the cheapest or the most expensive isn't always, even though it's the best, it's not really affordable to this one person. So what could their budget actually afford? So in essence, you could be faced with multiple ways of delivering the same thing, and your job is to recommend what would fit well within the time, cost, capabilities, conditions, rules, restrictions that this stakeholder has. And that's what they mean by deliver. You're recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. That's really the definition of what a BA does. Okay? You're not supposed to just blindly take what they ask you to do and then put it on paper and say, here, I've done my work, get off my back. I mean, you could do that if that helps you stay in your job, but it's not really fulfilling or rewarding. And you might say, well, Ed, you're a trainer, you're thinking fulfilling and rewarding. We have jobs that we need to keep, so we're not thinking about fulfilling and rewarding. We're thinking about filling our pockets with a salary every month. Yeah, true. But a lot of times you're able to influence your surroundings at least one level up or one level down or sideways. You always have an ability to influence, and you could actually enjoy what you do. All right, so that's what a BA does. And enabling change, when I was saying transformational change, before I was saying that, a BA could actually become, let's say, you can be a low-level BA. Now, if you are a low-level BA and you're happy there, please don't let this bother you. What I mean by that is, if that's your optimal goal, then that's okay. But if you aim to be more, if you aim to contribute more to at least to your soul, to feel that, you're not being forced, you're not dragging yourself to work daily to do some boring stuff. People who get involved in big things, big changes, and so on, they participate in them, they feel good. Even if it's tough, they still feel good, because this is, it's something you can talk about. You can point at something, you can say, this app, I participated in this. When this thing started, I was one of the first people to be involved in this. Because why? It's in you. It's your ego. You want to talk about good things that you've done. But if your job is just going to be repetitive, it might be too boring for you, and you might lose interest, even if it's paying your salary. What if you could get the same salary or more doing something you really like as a BA or system analyst or PM or something? It is possible if you try to influence your management one way or the other. So as I go through the training, you would find that I'm trying to also brainwash you into liking what you do. Because I don't know if you like what you do, but I'll try to brainwash you into doing that. And I also want you to feel a lot more empowered, that you actually have the ability to influence your managers, at least one level up. And there are different ways you can do that. All right. So we want to enable change in an enterprise in a way that means value to them. So I've seen in many organizations, somebody will come in and say, we're going to be using an ERP from this brand. and we're going to implement that. And what they do is they roll it out, but the organization can't afford it or doesn't have the ability to even use it. The people that are working there have no clue what this thing does. They don't get trained, and they're looking at it as like, this is extra work. You know, I'm not ready for this. Maybe the size of the organization was too small to actually need an ERP. There's probably some, you know, pay by user type solutions out there that are much cheaper. And then someone says, we're going to do this. Why? Because for them, maybe there's a bonus associated with implementing such a huge thing, or they want to, you know, take experience that they had from before and apply it, even though it doesn't apply in that specific circumstance. So what they're doing is not good service to the organization. They're not bringing value. Yes, this ERP is valuable, but not for this specific organization. So the BA needs to analyze that environment and look at the actual needs of the stakeholders and see how those needs can be met within that specific environment, within those constraints. And that work can be done at a strategic level. It can be done at an operational, tactical, or other level. When we say strategic level, we mean at the highest level, when they're planning out their missions and visions, and they develop a strategy that, let's say we're going to get into Singapore, and then we're going to do this into this industry. That's strategic moves, strategic thinking. You know, if they want to execute on that strategy, they need the tactics. The tactics are the individual projects that they run so that that strategy can be realized. So if you say, in our strategy, we will do a slow, let's say a slow, unnoticeable entry into Singapore so that competitors are not shaken, right? That's a strategy. What's the tactic? Well, we're going to open a small office, or we're going to partner initially. That's a tactic. This is how you will do it. The strategy is the big picture plan, and the tactics are the smaller level steps that you take so that you can implement that strategy. Operational initiatives could be your day-to-day that you guys are involved in. But, you know, a BA can find themselves doing any of these things. If you're asking yourself where the apps and, you know, the business processes fall in, apps could fall into this, or it could be part of the tactics. You know, once we have an app that fits into our strategy of, you know, looking like maybe a bigger agency, or once people have the app in their phone or devices, then people are more likely to use it, and that would satisfy our strategy, which is, you know, I don't know. I'm just giving you rough examples. So the tactical steps or operational steps could feed into that strategic aspect, and any one of us could be involved anywhere. So you're not really limited as a BA, and you should never really feel limited. I believe that people are only as limited as they limit themselves. Okay. It can be used to understand the current state. If you recall, I had a box and I had a circle here. This is not a circle, but I was telling you that you need to find the changes that are required, which are the solution. The solution is the change. So the word here, enabling change, is via this solution. Okay, it happens through the solution. The solution enables the change that takes the organization from this level of capability to this level of capability on the right. So the current state is pointing at the left side of things, and you understand that current state to define the future state, which is the small box on the right that says this is how far we can go, and then you determine the activities required to move them from the current to the future state. Very simple. We want to move them from a current to a future state, and we should be proud of our work once that's successful. So it can be done in different perspectives. So I may be involved in business process where somebody else may be involved in maybe creating apps, and others could be involved in, let's say, artificial intelligence, or maybe data. So everybody could be in different environments. So you see them here: agile, business intelligence, information technology, which is IT in general, business architecture, which is organizational structures and so on, and business processes, right? So 5 different, you know, perspectives that a BA could be involved in, and you may find that, you know, in your career, you may move within all of them. You know, I people who are involved in business intelligence deal with a lot of data. I myself, I do a lot of business process and business architecture. I can do, information like IT governance for an organization, like the plan, the vision for where this IT is going in an organization. I can map that out. And I think at a lower level, people are executing on agile, essentially. What I mean lower level, and not as an insult, but I mean at the point of execution, it's actually done in agile, which is, small incremental changes. So that's what business analysis is.